You're listening to the Blunders and Flagons podcast. Welcome to The Apprentice, Shire Edition, where Thornald Trumpkin, the most brilliant hobbit entrepreneur, seeks the next big idea in Middle-earth. Will it be bottomless jam, luxury apartments, or something else entirely? Let's find out.
Welcome, hobbits. I am Thornald Trumpkin, the greatest deal maker in the Shire. Today, I'll hear two pitches, but only one of you is going to win. The other, you're fired. Let's get started. Bungo Big Billy, you're up. Tell me, what is your idea?
Thank you, Mr. Trumpkin. I bring you Bungo's Bottomless Berry Jam. It's a jar that refills itself, ensuring no hobbit ever runs out of jam. Imagine the breakfasts, elevenses, and teas.
Jam that never runs out. That sounds quite magical. This isn't Gandalf's doing, is it? Maybe not.
Oh no, it's crafted with a little elvish assistance.
Elves? Oh no. Far too tall, far too fancy. They don't understand hobbits quite like I do. But still bottomless, that's a key word. I love bottomless. Hobbits love bottomless. I'm intrigued. Please, thank you, Bungo. Sit down, please. Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, next, Lobelia Sackville Baggins. Lobelia, let's hear it, please.
Mr. Trumpkin, I present Baggins Suites, Hobbiton's first luxury apartment complex. 8 stories tall, with roof-type pipeweed lounges and a second breakfast buffet.
8 stories of Lobelia. Hobbits, they can barely handle second stories. This is too ambitious, Lobelia.
Ambition is what the Shire needs. You call yourself a visionary, but you can't see past your own nose.
Me? My nose? I'm the most visionary hobbit there ever was, ever is. Your idea, it's too expensive, it's too unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Sit down. The decision is quite hard. I think I have come to my decision, and this is my decision. Bungo, you're hired, but your jam needs a better name. I think Trumpkin's Tasty Jar. Ooh, yes, quite. My name is very famous. It'll sell quite well.
But it's a family recipe.
Well, it's mine now. That's the deal. Lobelia, your project too big, too bold. You're fired.
Fired by a hobbit with a wig. This is absurd.
Well, absurd, that's how business is, folks. Well, go ahead and join us next week when we tackle an even bigger challenge. Picking the best pie for the Shire Market Day. I hope it's rhubarb. Someone, quick, bring me second breakfast. I'm hungry.
Welcome to Blunders and Flagons, the podcast where everyday normal hobbits meet real-world economics in the world of Middle-earth. I'm Drew, and I am thrilled to have you join us on this epic journey filled with laughter, ow, that hurt, questionable decisions, and fair share of hobbit-sized antics. And again, I'm just so grateful that you guys are here to join us. We'll introduce my character, Banjo. Some of you, if you've listened to any of these other podcasts, you'll know who we are and what we're doing, but I'm Banjo. And what I've been doing recently is everything possible to just be immature. That's a key word of my character.
True.
Really just trying to not, just throw the most random suggestions out there. I love doing it. Love it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all about family. Like for the Fast and the Furious movies, which I've been watching.
Yes.
But
Family.
It's all about family. Also joining me is my family. One of which is one of the more, you know, a little more, I'd say, in the Hobbit terms, a little queer folk. You know, the Took descendant. My dear friend Barty.
Ah,
A.k.a. Jared.
so it is. Not queer, mind you. Just a bit testing the head, as you might have heard Barry say in episode 1. Yes. Barty Took is played by none other than everyone's nobody's me, Jerry.
The self-hate just was almost...
Everybody's nobody, me.
Everybody's nobody. Everybody's nobody.
I am playing the enthusiastic and impulsive Barty Took of the Tooklands, who sports a dwarfish life and as closely as a hobbit can. It's interesting because he wasn't always so focused on dwarves, actually. Believe it or not, he used to be a pretty normal hobbit, leading a pretty normal hobbit life. But one night at the tavern, he was listening to what some folks, I mean, he thought they called him Grand Elf or something, but he heard him telling tales of dwarves going into mines, fighting dragons, fighting cave trolls and stuff, and his mind from then has just kind of been hooked. Now he does everything he can to reach a point in his life where he might actually someday be able to see, go with, and perhaps fight alongside a dwarf. And he would lovingly like to introduce you to probably his least favorite member of the party, but probably the wisest member of the party. Our Lord, no, I'm kidding. Daniel, who plays, well, he'll tell you who he plays.
Yes, I shall indeed. Hello, my name is Daniel, and I am so pleased to be joining this crew of my brothers to present to you this wonderful podcast. I do have a good time enjoying the world that has been offered to us by the author Tolkien. I've always been a huge fan of his books. But the character that I play in this podcast is none other than Baralac Bramblefoot. His friends call him Barry. And an interesting fact about Barry is the source of his nickname. When Barry was a young lad, he loved berries. In particular, he loved blackberries. And one autumn, he went out to harvest blackberries. And he gathered himself quite a large supply of blackberries. And he snuck them into his room and proceeded to eat them until he ate himself sick. And his mother and father found out, and his nickname thereafter was Barry, because he was a little too greedy with the berries and got himself sick.
He's lucky his nickname wasn't Pukeberry.
Yeah, he is. They were teasing, but they weren't mean. So
I don't know what the difference is.
That's so funny. That's so good.
And also joining us today and every day on this podcast is our beloved, and hopefully not too harsh, lore master, David.
We might want to butter on a little bit.
Yeah, the wonderful, the magnanimous.
Oh, stop.
the effervescent, the wonderful.
Oh, please, no. Yes,
Glowing.
I am the lore master. My name is David, and this is Blunders and Flagons. We're so glad you've joined us today, and we hope you're ready for a ride, because it's time to get going.
Did he say ride or riot? Because I'm down for either.
Oh dear.
Yes. Could go either way.
Oh boy.
Yes.
So, jumping back in from where we left off last time, you had left Hobbiton and the Green Dragon in various spirits. You had a discussion along the road to Mickle Delving, regarding the economics, the ethics, the difficulties that you've had in sourcing the mushrooms for Boffin's Crock, as requested by Sheriff Bolger, and perhaps feeling caught between a rock and a hard place, have gone to the Bird and Babe, seeking help from Jared, who is less than forthcoming in your dealings with Bolger, and reluctantly acquiesced to let you use his kitchen at the Bird and Babe to discover the recipe, to try and suss that out, to present something to Bolger as he's requested in terms of Boffin's Crock, or your riffing thereon. So as we come back in, the door swings shut behind you as you walk into the kitchen of the Bird and Babe. It's a fairly quiet point in the night, or I forget, I think it was morning. It was early morning, yes.
Yeah, because we'd slept in a patch of brambleberries or something.
Yeah.
So it's
No, we found blackberries through the night. Yes.
a fairly quiet morning at the Bird and Babe. The time for first breakfast has passed. There's a bit of a lull now, and Jarrett's wife is in here, and she looks up as you come in, and Jarrett kind of nods to her. Oh, hello, dear. These gentlemen, they're going to be using some of our kitchen space here as we allow them to try and find a recipe. If you can be of any help to them as you've got time, perhaps they're trying to suss out a recipe that we're welcome to use, as I understand it. Correct, boys? The recipe
You can't
for
hear us nodding our heads, but we're all nodding.
Yes.
the recipe
Definitely.
for Boffin's Crock. They've brought some very special mushrooms, as I understand, and they're trying to find it out. Oh, well, of course. I love having a conversation with myself. All right. Well, feel free to use. I've got a rather large crock here. She pulls out a big kind of wrought iron kettle with a hanger on it, and sets it above the hook. There is a fire going in the hearth, and I'm not doing anything over here at the moment, so you're welcome to use what we've got. I have some fresh water here that you can use, and whatever else, let me know, I suppose.
Right. Well, first of all, Mrs. Garrett, my name's Barty. Pleasure to probably make your acquaintance. I don't know that we've actually introduced
Petunia.
ourselves yet.
Petunia's the
Petunia.
name.
Bless you.
All right, lovely name for a right lovely lady. Boys, you want to introduce yourselves too, or is it just me here?
Sorry, I thought she sneezed. I'm Banjo. Nice to meet
Hello.
you.
Yes, thank you, Petunia.
Bless you.
Thank you. Always nice to be blessed.
And pleasure to
Let me tell
meet.
you. I'll tell you something. It's a blessing being around this fella.
Thumbs up.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Petunia. My name's Bearlack, or Barry, if you like.
Barry, Banjo, and Barty. What an odd assortment of bee names. Well, let us know if we can be of any help. I'm just off to clear some tables. Help yourself. So she.
Thank you, Petunia.
Right, quick,
Sorry.
Miss Petunia.
Yes.
I'm not too keen on making soup right now. I'm not a soup fella. Is there something I can do to help you help them make their concoction? I could use that word.
Well, if you're asking me if there's anything you can do to help me, then you could clear some of the tables and.
And that will give you some time to help these boys make their
Sure.
crock.
All right. Okay, well,
Right.
go on with you then. Put the dishes in the sink here and wipe down the tables with this clean cloth. Clean, mind you. You don't want it to be dirty, and just cleaning off the seats first and then the tables. That's not sanitary, you see. So make sure you do the tables first and then the seats, and after you clear all the dishes, all right? Mind you. Off you
While
go.
she was talking, Barty reached over and pulled the notepad out of Banjo's waistcoat.
That's super important.
Off you go. Hurry.
Right. Sorry.
Righto then. Well, first off, we gotta gather all the ingredients. I think what I remember, Barry, you remember, right? The types of ingredients we needed. I think there was definitely garlic.
Oh, I've got garlic right over here. She goes over to a hanging. It's literally just tied to the ceiling. There's some herbs and various root vegetables hanging from the ceiling. She unties a bunch of garlic and brings it over.
Garlic and definitely thyme. Thyme was definitely in there. But it was also the way it was prepared. The mushrooms, it seems like they were used for a couple different things.
Oh, aye, that's right. And I believe there was some kind of a chicken broth or something that was used as the base of the soup. You don't happen to have any chicken lying around, do you, Miss Petunia?
Well, as a matter of fact, I've got this stock I just made yesterday. I've got it right here, and it's ready to be used. I could put it in the pot. How much stock would you like?
How much have you got?
I've got this much. It's a crock.
A crock.
All right, I suppose that'll do. We can add it as we
Alright,
need.
Okay. So she sets it next to the garlic, the thyme, you can see basically what you need is here, and you basically let's have something of a roll to see how you can combine all these things. You've remembered at least a good portion of the ingredients, so.
All right.
Are we all rolling, or do we want a general roll?
I'm not.
I'll say we'll let you both roll, and we'll take the better of the two.
It's at this point that Barty just bustles in through the door, drops the whole armful of dishes in the sink, and bustles back out without making a word.
Now be gentle with those dishes. I don't want you just dropping them off and chipping the plates and cracking
Chip the glasses.
the glasses.
He's gone. He's already gone.
There's something to this, man. I feel like I've heard this before.
I've rolled a 5. That's probably not grand.
Okay, and 14 was Banjo's number, so we'll take
It's
the
like
14.
Ratatouille in here, man. I'm like,
What's
There's
that?
rats in
Just
your hair.
grabbing Barry's
What's-
hair.
What's
Yeah,
that
there's
one
rats in my
cooking
hair.
show that just came out with what is it? The Wolf or something? I don't remember what it's called. I don't know. There's a new cooking show. I don't remember.
Does it have furries in it?
No, it's
the bear.
never mind. Yeah, the bear. That's what.
Okay. I thought you were doing a bit at first, so I didn't want to just
I did
say-
too.
No, I'm just legitimately
I
stupid.
thought you were doing a play on words for the podcast again.
No,
we do that way too much.
I'm just legitimately stupid.
No. Yeah, the bear was
No,
interesting.
yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. But that's what I'm picturing. Yes, chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you collect these ingredients, and you get them arranged in a way that you can, mise en place. You get them all set up so you can have your ingredients ready to add to the pot as you need.
In French again.
Did anybody recollect the process of how are you just experimenting with this?
There's just something about this soup. The way that it was made.
So, I literally did make a recipe for this and
Here's
have
your fun fact,
actually
Lore Master.
taste tested it. And
quite good.
I think everybody except for Jerry, got to sample it.
Wah wah.
Hey,
Um,
rightfully so. I don't
Somebody
think he would
was
ever have
having
sampled
a
it.
child at that
He also
Sunday
didn't sample
already.
it in the podcast.
yeah,
Still hasn't tried
that
it.
would have been smart. I still have some in my fridge, but it's 3 weeks old now. I wouldn't recommend.
I'm sure it's still good.
3
Mushrooms
weeks.
don't go bad.
Dude, do not give anybody 3-week-old crop.
What are they gonna do? Sprout fungi? I don't.
Yeah, we got 3 sprouted fun guys.
That's
here,
how
4
you
sprouted
made the
fun guys.
soup, isn't it?
So anyway, the as you kind of play around with these things and see, talk with Petunia about developing flavors and those things, you you discern that it would be smart to have, something of a base that you let simmer for a long time, and then add some fresh mushrooms too after it comes out. Mm-hmm. And so, Petunia recommends, adding an onion to the garlic and the thyme and a mushroom base after grinding it with a mortar and pestle, cooking it, simmering it for a long time with that chicken broth. And so you get that set up and you let it simmer over the stove, and the aromatic fragrance of the garlic, onions, and thyme mixing with the umami, earthy, and robust smell of the mushrooms already feels very complete, but you know that with time those scents really get infused into the broth and become whole. So you get that to simmering on the fire over low coals, and you feel pretty confident about it. You feel pretty good that this is a good place to start.
Ooh, and then I remember they had those seared mushrooms on top.
Oh yes.
You got to remember those, and that was actually my favorite part. It's almost just like, oh man, I just loved those mushrooms. Just sinking your teeth into a whole mushroom. Oh, so good. They're so good. We got to include that. We got to include that in there.
So you use a good portion of the mushrooms for the base of the soup, and then setting some more sliced ones aside for finishing the soup once it's done. You've probably used close to half on this one crock of stew so far of the supply that you've got.
All right.
Barty comes in and drops another armful of dishes into the sink. Right, I think that's the most of them. You want me to start washing these or get to the tables next, Miss Petunia?
You didn't wipe off the tables when you took the dishes.
No, you got to
Oh,
clear the
hurry.
table first.
Folks will be sitting down at those empty tables as soon as you whisper, "Quick, get those tables done."
Right, I'm off. Clunk, clunk,
Bye,
clunk, clunk, clunk.
Barty. Don't die out there, man. Don't slip on nothing. Slippery.
I'm not sure that clogs are exactly safe footwear for a for a busboy, but all right.
You realize that we just go around open-toed, right? So the shoes are still open-toed.
If he starts falling, he just balance himself with his toes.
Sure. Very good. So we feel
Ground yourself.
we feel fairly confident that we're on our way to producing a passable Boffin's crock.
Yeah, Petunia
It's just-
kind of takes a spoon and she rolls it around in her mouth. Let it breathe.
What is this, a whiskey tasting?
Well, I think that's a very good start for a soup. That's very close to Boffin's crock. I mean, the flavor's far underdeveloped, but with some time, I believe that this may be just what we're looking for. Perhaps some cream once it's closer to being finished. And I think that might be just about perfect. By Jove, I think you might have done it. She starts writing down the process to record it and make sure that she can repeat it. This will bring folks from all across the farthing. This is fantastic. I can't believe it.
That's right. It'll be a real kick to your business. You'll be able to have people from all over the Shire coming, knowing that they don't have to trek all the way down to the Green Dragon Inn. They can come right here to their very own Bird and Babe.
Does the Green Dragon know about this? Did you get the recipe straight from Gerda, or
At this point, Barty...
Yeah, we're totally talking to your husband about this, man. We dropped this horrible business proposition.
Yes. Oh, well, I suppose it's, if Jarrett knows how it's going, and, well, obviously I'm a close personal friend of Gerda, so hopefully this is all.
She's okay with this. No,
Oh,
yeah, we're
great!
good.
Well, that's fantastic.
And also, this is awesome.
I must write her a
friends.
thank you note.
Oh, you know what? And actually, because we'll probably be going back, just give it to us. We'll take it to her.
Oh, well, that's
We'll
very
make sure that
nice.
She gets the thank you note.
Thank you so
Give it
much.
to us, 'cause, these postal offices, I can't even tell you how many times I've tried to send a letter to somebody, and it just never gets there.
Really? I've never had a problem with the
No,
quick post.
absolutely. No, the bounders sometimes, and hey, you know what? It could be an accident. I'm not gonna chalk it up to, purposeful, but
Have you
all I'm
met
saying-
Bolger? Sheriff Bolger is very strict on
very
the quick
personable,
post.
yeah.
They do a very good
Oh,
job.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's happened to me like 5 times now, and it's not a coincidence.
Gracious, I didn't
But-
think that you were the letter writing sort.
Yeah,
no offense.
But
Oof.
thank you, no, yeah, absolutely. But
Well,
yeah,
it's
just give
these
that to
young
us. Make
ones.
sure
They've
that you
got
don't give it
their-
to anybody else. Just give that thank you note to us. But yeah,
All these young ones, they're using their newfangled technology, writing their notes on a rock and slinging it across the Shire. It's up to us
Instant
older
messaging.
ones to use the written word.
the written word. Oh my gosh, this is great. But yeah, we definitely have like half our stock. So
And these mushrooms, do you suppose that there'd be a steady stream of them coming in?
Well, I'm gonna, if these are all the mushrooms we need for the soup, and I'm hoping that is, and I'd like to see if we can't perhaps find a nice fertile area, maybe find a nice copse of trees or a nice thicket or something with lots of shade and plenty of damp. We could find a place where we might be able to propagate these here mushrooms and grow a
fairly
crop
good
of our
idea.
own nearby so we can harvest them fresh, just for you.
Well, that's fantastic. I know this is not the easiest area to farm mushrooms. The best are all over in Buckland, but certainly I'm sure that a good farmer worth his salt would be able to spread some spores and see some fruit. Hopefully that'll work out. Well, obviously, with what you've got, I couldn't start selling this here at the Bird and Babe, but it's definitely enough to have some for now. What are you trying to do with the? You said enough soup. Are you trying to feed a number of people?
Well, yes.
Banjo.
Well, Sheriff Bolger did ask us to
Oh,
prepare this soup for the Yule feast. So that's our ultimate goal, is to prepare enough soup. So we'll be definitely needing more mushrooms than this, but we still have some time. And that's the ultimate plan there.
well, yes, that would be quite a bit of soup to feed all of Mickle Delving. But still, perhaps with these two, we'll just make sure there's small bowls, I would say. Otherwise, there'd hardly be anything to show for it.
At this point, Barty barges in back again. Miss Petunia, where are your clean rags?
Have you not taken the clean rags?
No, I haven't taken any rags. I spent this whole blooming time trying to find them.
Over by the sink right next to where you put the dishes.
Oh, right. Oh, right here?
Yes, the folded ones are clean.
I thought those were dirty. I usually.
You know
fold
what?
the dirty
I'd better go
clothes.
and do the tables myself.
No, it's all right.
Well, I'll show you what to do. So she goes
Right,
and grabs
okay.
a towel and dunks it in some of the soapy water and leads
slaps
you out.
it a bit in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Holds you by your ear. No. So you've got your soup base. You have some things going on, and so what's your next step in your plan here?
Take out my bubble
Yeah,
pipe.
what is
and
your
start
next step,
blowing
you two?
bubbles, because I'm thinking a lot. I mean, I'm definitely. We got to go back to get more.
We have to
shrooms.
go back.
We've got to go back to get more shrooms. So, as of now, I think and this is obviously Banjo is obviously just talking to to bury right now. This is my banjo voice. But yeah, I really think that, we'll have to go back. So we might want to get Sheriff Bolger on board with this and see if he can test it out and see if hone our recipe, make sure that's good. And, once the recipe's good, we should be able to go back and get more supplies.
Well, I don't know, lad. We've been thinking about it a little bit, and I'm not so sure. I think that Sheriff Bolger might have set us up for a bit of a vain task. He might have set us up to fail. I just don't see how, like Petunia was saying, all these mushrooms that we collected, and we collected a fair amount. It wasn't a small amount of mushrooms we gathered, but all these mushrooms we gathered would hardly do a thing for the whole township of Mickle Delving to feed all of them. I just don't know. The task that he's given us is so large, and I just don't know that we can truly accomplish that. But we have come so far already, and if all we have to show for it is to offer a somewhat questionable business arrangement to the Bird and Babe, I'm not so sure where we want to go with it. Is the main thing. I'm certain that Sheriff Bolger will be unpleased if we're unable to provide him the soup, but that might not be the end of the world.
Just hypothetically, when I rack my brain to remember the amount of mushrooms that were in the hollow, would I just kind of from the amount that we have that she said wouldn't even be enough for that tavern to run as a menu item, how much would we be talking about? How many bagfuls? The bag we brought, how many of those would my little hobbit brain theorize we would need?
So you brought with you basically 3 personal rucksacks, right? Mm-hmm. And you filled them with as much as you could. There weren't any improvised extra capacity. You didn't have a wagon of mushrooms that you were carrying with you. So this is like a normal backpack filled with mushrooms, basically. So you think that you could probably, with what you had, you could probably make enough soup to be a dish, right? So this isn't this is the only thing necessarily. It wasn't what I was intending to say. This is the only thing everybody's eating, right? But, if you were bringing something to a potluck and it was this is one of the main dishes, obviously you want to have enough for everybody to sample it, but it's not that's the only dish that's happening. Now, they are hobbits, right? So they
Sheriff
eat...
Bolger is there.
And Sheriff Bolger's there, and he's going to want to taste it. And so you obviously you can't know for sure until you try and, see, is this enough? But you definitely don't have enough to barter with the Bird and Babe and say, here's your share of mushrooms and here's, ours for the soup. You'd definitely be jipping both if you said, well, here's a, even 2 days supply of mushrooms for you and enough for everybody to have a quarter bowl, everybody would miss out if you're trying to stretch it both ways. You have enough for one or the other, but you don't have enough for both.
Sneaky lore master.
Well, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It does, and it makes sense.
All right.
I'm so glad I'm not part of this ethical dilemma right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Barty at? Let's get him.
I would like to say I told you so.
That's the fun.
When you start thinking, the more you think.
The more you think, the more you talk. The more you talk, the more you think.
It's true. Sometimes.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Well,
and you haven't. You could. I'll say. You could try to, for one or the other, augment with alternate mushroom supply. Like, you haven't really compared these mushrooms to what's on the market. You haven't really, tried to see if there's anybody about, or investigate who could grow mushrooms like this. So there are other options. Obviously, they're more for long-term things, because like if you need them right now, you need them right now, and the one place that you can get these mushrooms right now.
They don't have time to wait on.
But I think the every day, every hour that passes, this business proposition, it's just falling apart at the seams.
So you do have, I mean, not to play a person of your party, but you do have the what you feel like is a satisfactory recipe. You haven't run it by Bolger, so his DC might be a little higher for what passes as Boffin's crock. But you have the mushrooms, and you have a recipe, and according to Petunia, who's a decent authority, this is pretty good. So if you could move forward with your plan, give some to Bolger. He tastes it. He says, "This is good. This is what we want." In it's now a week and a half from now. That gives you some time anyway. Or you could say, and then the bird and babe can use the soup until that time. If you promise you could get them more mushrooms or equivalent mushrooms by the time they need it, they probably would have a short supply, but then you'd need mushrooms for the feast and for resupplying the bird and babe.
Yeah.
I think if we really, 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 really tried, we could do it. I kind of want to, but
well,
you could also take him directly at his word, because he asked you to bring him Boffin's crock, so you could make all the soup right now and say, "This is it. It's your problem now. You asked for Boffin's crock. You've got Boffin's crock, and here it is."
Yeah, it's literally, there it is. It's a crock. It has Boffin's crock in it. What do you want from me? That's just true. I think at the end of the day, Sheriff Bolger kind of does need to get involved and at least taste it and make sure that we're good with the recipe, like David said. I was
trying
okay
not to give any input, but I feel like it might be worth mentioning. We could also just completely cut him out. Just be like, "Yep, we couldn't do it," and then give them the recipe. They bring it to the Yuletide, since they have the recipe, because they'll have time to create, a stock of the crock. Especially if we supply them several servings of mushrooms. And this is not Barty's opinion. This is just me giving some input. And then, surprise, Sheriff Bolger, we actually made it. It's a surprise for you. Have a bowl. It's like your name, Bolger. Haha, jokes. We like you.
Yeah. So what's the point of not telling him that we didn't do it?
Surprise.
Just to give us more time?
Yeah. By a little time. But
if we give it to him and right now, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is good," then that would give us the same amount of time.
Yeah, but if he says it's not good, that gives you less time. Because now you have to go back.
He says it's not good, I'll kick him in the nuts. And then we'll move on.
Preaching those.
I'll kick him in the nuts with my slingshot.
This is the Christian Minecraft server.
Sorry.
Well,
yeah, there's a bit of a dilemma.
Barty runs back out to help wipe a table.
after not sharing that opinion because it wasn't his.
Guys, you have to tell somebody out there told me because they were listening to you and I told them.
Oh, this is straight from Petunia's mouth, Bites.
Bites. I love it.
Oh my.
But yeah.
So yeah, and you have some time while the soup is simmering, right? So
it's still cooking.
You'll need to come back to it at some point. You're not sure exactly when, but it takes. You remember her saying that it takes some time.
while.
It wouldn't be ready immediately that morning. So
Okay. Here's
So at this point, Barty will actually enter the kitchen, kind of with a whipped puppy look. Guys, boys, I hate to break it to you. I think I may be the worst table wiper this side of the Shire.
oh,
and
that's
Petunia
too bad.
enters behind him. I second that. Those tables were atrocious.
That's too
You
bad.
you stay in here now and maybe wash some of those dishes while you discuss these things. I've got to go redo all the tables you did. She leaves again.
That's all right, lad. You're not looking for a job at an inn anyway, so.
No. All
right.
Not.
So here's what I'm thinking, lads, and this is, I'm not by any means the leader of this group or anything close to that, but here's what I'm
are.
thinking.
You are the oldest, therefore the wisest.
Well-
therefore the oldest.
Therefore, the leadiest.
Anyone can make mistakes, and
True. Very
anyways.
true, Barry.
yes, indeed. So here's what I'm thinking. We have the soup, it's cooking. It's going to take some time to cook down. We want all them flavors to get stronger and richer and deeper,
Right.
and it needs some time. So let's use that time
Right.
to go talk with Sheriff Bolger and sort of kind of feel him out and see how he might receive bad news and see what sort of, because I'm scratching my brain and I don't exactly recall a specific reward, as he mentioned, that we'd be getting for delivering the soup.
No, there was no reward. But what's the bad news you're planning on delivering to Sheriff Bolger? Did you not make this?
Well, we might be giving the soup just to the bird and babe and having them be the secondary provider.
What?
And then they could provide it to the Yuletide if.
Because
Sheriff
let's
Bolger
be
wants to
frank,
make it.
I've never really cared much for Sheriff Bolger. I mean, he's a decent enough fella, I suppose, but to be working like this and asking such a big favor of us humble hobbits just
Right.
on a whim, he could have just to save face with his bounders. I don't know. I'm
The
not
poor
so
bloke
sure.
ain't got no bounders. He's all by himself, trying to run the post, trying
Well-
to be a bounder himself, trying to set up the Yuletide feast. Barry, you can barely run your family, much less all the things you get what I'm saying.
Right.
I felt bad for that. I'm sorry.
Well-
I couldn't finish.
That's all right. It is a large responsibility to be a bounder, which is why I'm not a bounder, because I don't want that sort of responsibility, because I know I'm not capable. And
You're
I'm not
adventurous.
so sure that we should be supporting him with our misdeeds. I think we could possibly hope to atone slightly by benefiting a business who could use the help and support, I think. That's just my
Right.
thought.
And I do agree with you to a certain extent, Barry. I still can't get around the whole part where we're doing this without the Green Dragon even knowing.
Well, I'm hoping that
whole
they're...
thing is...
I'm hoping that they'll be quite pleased to learn that their business has expanded and that they'll be making a fairly sizable profit off of the sale of this soup. I'm hoping that that'll smooth over any hurt feelings.
I can see it now.
How much did they
Mr. Humboldt
sell?
himself doing a tippy-tappy dance as we tell him the news.
How much
Well,
did
if
they
you'd
sell-
rather not be there, you don't have to be.
How much did they sell the soup for? Now that I'm thinking about it, do we remember how much they sold the soup for? Did we buy it for like 2
5 silver.
silvers? Or
Your-
they like sold us for like 4 silvers.
Your 2 bowls were 5 silver altogether.
Total.
But they hated us. That's why. Because we paid like 2 silvers for like 1 room for a night.
You did?
Well, prices aren't always consistent.
Yeah, this is true. I can't really base it off of that. But yeah, that was a lot of money for a freaking bowl of soup. But yeah, I second.
It could have
I
been
think
that the
you-
room was a great deal.
That's true. The room was just so
they
good.
loved us at that time.
It was a really nice room though. Had a good view, a good little
so-
shooting range in the backyard.
So, as I can see, the plan right now is to go talk to Sheriff Bolger, feel him out, as Barry so picturesquely put, I don't like that mental picture, by the way, Barry. Thank you for ever burning and branding that into my brain. Feeling out Sheriff Bolger. Anyways, we're gonna go talk to him, see what he thinks, see where he's at, and then from there, go talk to Dahlia again? Well, some more mushrooms?
Well, maybe we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. First things first,
Okay.
we need to go talk to Sheriff Bolger. And
So
it,
that's
by
my
the way,
favourite thing.
it's no fault of mine what goes through your head when I say words. It's your own fault.
You've got a bloody good point.
All right, we're off to see Fatty B.
Okay.
So
Golly.
you
Respectfully, he says.
Well, his first name is Fatty. Oh no, it's Sheriff.
is it?
I forgot. His first name's actually Sheriff.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe
there
nobody
is
ever asked him his first name.
because it's Sheriff.
So,
There is a
Mr.
character
B's
in The
house.
Lord of the Rings named Fatty Bolger, but
Yeah.
it's not
that's why.
this man.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure there is a Fatty Bolger.
Okay.
I can... Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
okay, no, we're good. We're good. Sorry.
Let's go find Sheriff Bolger.
So you proceed proceed through the dining room of the Bird and Babe, which is beginning to pick up again for second breakfast. There's a nice crowd here ordering the. Was it this place that had the Shire breakfast? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
I think so.
The full Shire. Yes, it was this place.
yes.
No, it wasn't. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
It could have been either.
This is,
We weren't ever
Well, they had
at...
pancakes. You know, when we came in, he was doing pancakes.
Yeah.
No, this one has the full shire. This
Yeah.
one.
So yes, you've got many sizzling plates of the full Shire going. So Petunia was making slabs of bacon while you were discussing, and yeah. So a lot is starting to happen again as business picks up here, and you make your way down through the now beginning to bustle streets of Mickledelving, and you take in the familiar sights of the well-to-do houses. Many of these, as opposed to Hobbiton, where there were some burrows in the style of the Tooklins and Tuckborough, most of these are cottage-type buildings, either made out of stone or sod or wood, and they are built alongside the road, and they're fairly nice. You walk by the I forget what it's called, the town center, kind of the main building where the mayor lives and a lot of the business is done, that is the oversight of the Shire. Many feasts, many connections and social encounters take place there, as well as some storage and various other things. But you make your way through the town, the noisy people moving through, and colorful folks here, much more well-dressed than in Hobbiton and Bywater, as you've been through. And you make your way to the Quick Post office, the headquarters of Sheriff Bolger and those that oversee the Shire, as well as the messenger service, which very proudly makes its way through all 4 farthings and delivers in rapid time the news across the Shire. And as a matter of fact, you see both a hobbit coming and going, literally running with the signature Quick Post satchel at their side, and running down the road to deliver a message off in the direction of perhaps Hobbiton, perhaps Bywater, perhaps even further to Buckland. And you see them passing each other, and they kind of high-five as they go. These young, spirited hobbits who are well and capable of fleet-footed delivery.
Right. Well, if they need mail over there, and they need mail over there, couldn't they just, like, a simple call would change a lot of the work they'd be doing?
Did you say a call?
Hey, you guys!
Who said that?
Oh, it's me.
Who's that?
Right, so is Sheriff Bolger in? I don't... We haven't
didn't get
gotten
that
close
far
enough
yet.
to see, I suppose.
Yeah, you as you walk up, you see the sign hanging above the door, quick post, and underneath sheriff's office. You walk in, and you do in fact see Sheriff Bolger, his prodigious girth, sitting behind a large green desk, and there's a number of various documents sitting next to him, and behind him there's a large slot of alphabetized names and letters where many letters are placed, and he in fact is reading some that perhaps just arrived. The young hobbit who you saw ran in is standing in front of him, panting, his shoulders heaving up and down, and is waiting as Bolger scrolls a reply to whatever he received and hands it back to this young hobbit, who once again scampers off, running out the door without so much as a by your leave as he passes you.
Can I give him a high five as he passes? Can I try to give him a high five?
Go ahead and make a roll.
Yes.
Make
He's gonna knock this hobbit
Please,
down.
I'm gonna smack him in the
Trip him.
face. Yeah.
We're trying to.
Yes. Smack him in the face.
so you're a little late in raising your hand, and you just kind of serve to jostle his shoulder a little bit as he runs by and kind of gives you a strange glance, which Bolger notes as you as that hobbit leaves the door. Well, I see that you've returned, and have I lost his accent again?
Banjo with all his good intentions.
What is something he said? I need to find his accent again.
Poffin's crock.
I think you'd. there was something I said that helped. I don't know what it was.
Just say Barty in a very disappointed voice. That'll bring it back.
Barty took.
Yep.
It works.
Well, I see that you have returned, and I don't see Boffin's crock in your hands. What news have you of this task which I've given you?
Well, for starters, it's really hard to travel with a bowl of soup in your hands. So, for starters, we'll just start there. Anyways, Barry has some great news for you.
That does
Wow.
make sense.
What a tee up. Right. As Barty said, it is quite difficult to carry soup around. But
He seconds the motion.
we are working on this task that you've given us, and we're finding it's a little bit harder than we thought it might be. As you well know, there have been many who've been trying to create Boffin's crock for many a year now, and they've all largely failed. It's quite a difficult task.
For so many hobbits too. I mean, that's a lot of soup.
Yes, I do.
You got it.
Barty took. So, well, yes, of course, it is an important task, which is why I, out of necessity, asked you to provide it. What progress have you made? I recognize some difficulty. What do you have to show for your ventures? Have you obtained the recipe?
I would like to point out, we did make it there and back again. For starters. Anyways, Banjo has some great news for you.
Yeah, so basically, thank you so much, Barty. Have I told you how much I like this guy? This guy's awesome. Well, basically,
Secretly, he's like, I want to kill him.
We were able to go to the Green Dragon, and me and Barry tasted it. You are so right. I mean, this soup was fantastic, delicious.
Yes, I've had it many times.
Yes, and most of the ingredients we were able to suss out. Some you provided us, like the thyme, the ginger, or not ginger. Pardon my French. I don't speak French. Garlic is what I meant to say. Garlic, onion. All these ingredients. So we were able to kind of more pinpoint the byway ingredients, but still the elusive secret ingredient. I mean, that's what's really been the hardest. So,
of course,
you know,
yes.
But as of the soup we tasted it, we've been able to at least some of the process just from conversations and stuff we've been able. But again, we're still not there quite yet.
That's right.
No, we did find out what the secret ingredient was. Would you like to know what it is?
Well, of course.
Mrs. Boffin's crock.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to make of that.
Well, when we went to the Green Dragon, we were made bloody fools of, right? We were all like, well, what's the secret recipe? What's the secret? What's the secret? And everyone was all laughing at us and calling us morons. It was really fun. I had a great time. Turns out the secret is just Mrs. Boffin.
Well, yes. Nobody but her can make the crock. I'm assuming you spoke with Gerda.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Barry?
Yeah.
Barry, take over. Barry, take over.
Right. This is going. You'll have to forgive these young hobbits here. They haven't quite learned how to put thoughts together in their head, and I'm still struggling myself. But anyway, I'm just wondering, Sheriff Bolger, what is your plan if we're unable to provide the soup? It is a grand task, and we're making progress, but I'm not so sure. We only have, what is it, a week and a half left? That's not much time, and I don't know. We don't want to disappoint you, but we're afraid that it might come down to it. Do you have a backup plan? Is there some kind of alternative recipe we might look for?
He pauses for a moment.
Barry, he paused. Barry.
Well, I would say that, of course, I have many irons in the fire, as some dwarven smiths have quoted.
I've heard that.
Yes.
He just literally heard that for the first time now.
It's a dwarf
Of course, you have, in asking if you might assist with some of my duties, I offered you one that, yes, being difficult was not of crucial importance for my plans. Of course, it would help immensely in my goals to present myself as the obvious choice for first sheriff upon the new election. However, it's not superbly important in that manner. It was to be a way I could see if you were trustworthy and capable of completing other tasks. Now, of course, you do realize you've made a rather lot of noise about this. He pulls up one of the letters from the table in front of him. In fact, the night you arrived at Hobbiton, you made a bit of... He pauses and kind of taps his chin. A bit of a fool of yourselves, and almost of me. Now, I was not mentioned, gratefully, but word did arrive very quickly that you weren't being exactly subtle on your inquiries. And so in that amount, I was rather disappointed.
He sounds like my dad. And me mum. And me cousins.
And then
me brothers and me sisters and me aunts and me uncles.
We get it, Barty. Many are disappointed in you.
Thank you.
Now, and then you come here, and I assume after making such a big fuss and to-do in Hobbiton, you might provide me with some results. In fact, I received a second letter. He pulls over another one that Goethe seems to be certain you've stolen some of her mushrooms. Have you brought these with you?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Dude, I would
like to know.
I would never steal anything and bring it somewhere
Just for the
else.
sake of the listeners, I'd like to point out that this was such a dramatic point in Banjo's life that he literally got up out of his chair to dance around the room in anger.
Why does everybody find out? Why does everybody know everybody?
It's Hobbiton.
It is so,
it's the Shire.
It is so crazy.
Mr. Bolger, sure, can I see that letter?
Oh my gosh.
Let me see that blooming
No, Barty, you cannot.
I freaking
I
know.
just for it anyways.
He's still holding it, and he slaps your hand away. Whoa. Absolutely not. Now, whoa. You've not brought the mushrooms. Have you... I understand that Gerda has a secret hiding place where she grows these mushrooms. Now, that, in and of itself, would be of great interest to me. Have you found where she grows her mushrooms?
You knew that Gerda Buffin had a secret hiding place for her mushrooms, and you didn't tell us at the beginning.
This all came out in the letter which I received the night after you left Hobbiton and
you knew
upset
how to read, write, and send
rumbled.
letters, and you didn't tell us.
Surely,
sorry.
as you walked the path back, you noted some of our quick post runners carrying some things.
No?
They are fleet-footed and arrived far before you did.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing.
Those
Here's
guys
the
are
thing,
cool.
Here's the thing, Mr. Bolger, Sheriff Bolger. We actually found a shortcut, so if this thing does end up working out, we...
I don't know. We
I
couldn't
said too
find it
much.
again.
I
We
said
only
too
found
much.
it once. It's only there. It's only a shortcut
I'm-
there. It's only one
I'm
way.
not interested in a shortcut unless it leads to mushrooms.
Well-
Well, I don't know.
Sigh. Yeah, you got us. We found it. I think we really should. I mean,
Sure.
we can't even
Hold
do
on.
a group funnel. I'm coming clean. I don't think Banjo could take this. I'm not.
Sure.
I'm not even able to take this. I'm cracking, dude. 10 times out of 10. Feel like
You can see as he's talking about the mushrooms.
He probably already knows
he-
everything anyway.
He kind of licks his chops. You know, he's thinking about those special Boffin's croc mushrooms and. Have you discovered where these mushrooms are grown?
Yes and no. Yes and no. We know that they're grown. We know that they're mushrooms, and we have discovered mushrooms and things growing. Barry, Banjo, somebody.
Right.
Yeah. No, we did find them.
We
And
do. We do know where they are.
Barry.
We know
Banjo.
exactly where they are.
But I'm not so sure. I mean, it sounds like you're really hungry for the mushrooms, and I'm not so sure we should be telling you, to be honest.
Of all the outrage, what do you think I sent you to find? I told you to bring me Boffin's crock. You've brought me nothing but empty tales of finding these things. You've made an awful lot of noise about it and upset a very close personal friend of mine. Well, not that close.
Well, if
But you've upset one of the citizens of the West Farthing, and that is important to me. And so, I think it only right that you present to me a gift of goodwill, such as the hiding place of the mushrooms for Boffin's crock.
So if we rat out and give you this recipe, we get a presidential pardon, a hobbitential pardon, if you will,
Mayoral pardon. He's not the mayor.
sheriffal pardon.
We haven't
Sheriff,
been.
can you
we
give me a
haven't.
pardon?
We haven't been charged with anything yet, as it is. And if
I
we're
cannot restore your standing in the eyes of the
Oh, yeah, you
citizens
did
of
say
the
that.
West
I forgot about
Farthing.
that. So again, that's a lot. Them's was a lot of mushrooms. What I saw. If I could only show you. But again, we can tell you all day about what we found, what we saw. But, hearing is not the best sense. Would you agree? Hearing, it's not, birds are beautiful to hear and all this, but smells.
We all rely on our nose. This is what Banjo's
the
trying
tastes.
to say.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
right.
The taste, the smells. So I think we should smell you what we found. Huh? Huh?
All
You
right.
following me? You following me?
I'm listening.
I
With
think
his
we got
hearing.
it. Should we show him, fellas? Should we show him? Do we show him, fellas?
Well, I suppose we.
All right.
It's literally what I said from the start.
Absolutely.
Let's show him the blooming
We're gonna. It's
dish.
a surprise. So, Sheriff, if you'll humor us, and follow us to the Bird and Babe, there we shall tickle all of your fancy with something we've been concocting with the help of Jarek, and his wife.
Petunia.
Bless you.
Very well, I'll withhold judgment until such time as I decide not to. Very well. Let us off to Bird and Babe. He signals, and you see that just outside the building there were a couple of bounders, and one of them comes in and takes a seat behind the desk, and two of them accompany you and head out towards the location of the Bird and Babe, where perhaps hangs in the balance, who knows, an intriguing time of smells, flavors, and perhaps destinations. We'll see when we come back next time for Session 8 here at Mickle Delving. Blunders and Flagons is a creation of David Lennox in partnership with Daniel and Drew Lennox and Jerry Hoppmann. Content for this adventure is compiled from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings universe. The system and certain names and details of this adventure were adapted from the Free League's work, The Lord of the Rings Roleplaying and Shire Adventures Starter Set for 5e. Sounds in this episode were sourced in part from freesound.org under the Creative Commons and Attribution license. Atmosphere and other sounds were derived from Monument Studios, Fantasy Music, and Cinematic Atmosphere collections under the Creative Commons license. Other music was created using Suno Premium. Detailed attribution found in the description.
Most excellent.
Yes,
Most
smells,
excellent.
yes, smells, wonderful, wonderful taste, yes, oh, delightful, yes, delicious, oh, yes, wonderful,
This is Jeff Goldblum.
little, jealous,
Umami. Ooh, mummy.